the clothes to him and take money in installments. So someday my neighbor told me that you're dealing with this guy, you give him such a lot of cloth material. What will you do if he doesn't pay you? You can't recover money from people like him. So I just straight away went to Arif by the next day and I told him that, boss, I do my education on this money. So the day you decide not to pay me, you will be responsible for me not getting educated. Now this guy was so touched that he immediately asked me, what is your balance? I told him the balance XYZ amount. He took out the money, gave it to me, and he said, from henceforth I will buy the material from you, across the counter I will pay you the money. And in the entire city of Bombay, if there is anybody who will not pay you your money, you come to me, I will recover it for you. So such were the people, the kind of love, the kind of respect, and I lived in that kind of an area. I live in a very, very good area now. It's a very premium area now. But I used to feel very secure in that area. There were people around me who were all notorious characters according to the cops and according to the general society. But it was the safest place. A woman with 10 kgs of gold also in the middle of the night can walk on the streets and nobody would dare to touch her, because everybody are goons there. So it was the safest place on planet Earth. But that was my college of learning, where I understood human psychology, where I understood people, I understood emotions, I understood connectivity. Connecting people is the punchline of Nokia now. But I understood it in my college days of what is connecting people. And why do people buy from you? And it was a very interesting learning. They buy material from you not because of the quality of the material alone, but because of the kind of trust that you can build in their minds about your dealing with them. So when I used to sell clothes, I used to tell them that this material will never go loose lifetime. Your stitching will come out, but the material will be undamaged. If it happens, you return it back to me and I will give you a free replacement. And that used to make me sell my cloth. The shopkeeper from whom I used to buy, I used to take the same guarantee. In one or two odd cases, if the material became defective, I have literally got them replaced. So that really gave me a good insight of customer relationship. And I also realized the power of referral. Because whenever a customer used to buy that material from me, out of happiness, because he used to get that material cheap, he used to get door service, that used to not be very common those days. And he used to give me referrals, his neighbor, his relatives, his friends, his office crowd. The one thing that I learned is that I should not feel shy about what I am doing. My other relatives used to feel very awkward that how can you go to the houses of people and do this type of sales activities. So I said it is better than becoming a robber or looting somebody or becoming a goon and taking extortion money. It is hard work. I am not feeling shy about it. Whatever I am doing it to the best of my capability, and I started making good amount of money. During my college days, the IT education that I got because of Lupin Pharmaceuticals was very interesting. In my final year, I realized that selling cloth material, Venki's chicken, Payal chappals, this is good for pocket money. But if you want to make a career, you need to do something different. That is the time when I decided to get into IT, because I realized, I heard Rajiv Gandhi speak a couple of times on the television that information technology is really going to bail out India as a country and it's going to make big inroads for this country in global economy. And I thought that why not get connected to IT, and so I started data processing jobs. I don't know how many of you all will remember, but the first commercial program on television, Super Hit Mukabla, does anybody remember? That was the first program where they used to ask the audience to write on a postcard the best songs in sequence and they used to get prizes. So I used to be the guy who used to process those postcards, and I used to be one of the guys. There used to be many people like me doing data processing. I used to be one of the guys. I bought one first computer with a loan from two friends and some contribution from mine. I paid 32,000 rupees for the first 286. And I started data processing on that, on which I did my first Parle Super Hit Mukabla data processing. When I bought that computer was also a very interesting story. It was during the Bombay riots, so I can never forget it. And staying in a very distinguished area called Malwani, I also realized what curfew means, because throughout the riots, my area was under curfew. And for curfew, there used to be 2 hours relaxation in the morning, 2 hours relaxation in the evening to buy essential commodities. So one fine day, I had this 32,000 rupees in my pockets, and I started walking from my home with two friends as my bodyguards so that they can protect the money I'm carrying. And I walked to a station called Kandivali station, which is almost around 12 to 15 kilometers. I went walking in the morning curfew relaxed time, paid the money to the computer, sat at the railway station because I have to wait for the evening to come so that I can enter into my area. And that is how I bought the first computer. So that was a very interesting buy, and it was a 286. I started data processing on that computer, and the first program that I did was Parla Super Hit Mukabla, and I used to get 20 paise for that. I started working, then I thought that if I keep working, how much will I make? So I started double shift. I took a neighboring guy, told him that I will share the revenue with you. You start working on this computer. I started the second shift, then I started the third shift. Then I stopped working myself and I started bringing the work, and I started using the local boys who didn't need to have computer knowledge, but they just had to do punching job, who knew typing. And that's how the data processing business started. And after some time, I took the second machine and I used to bring that postcards in gunny bags in auto rickshaws. Neighbors started feeling that these gunny bags are not of postcards, that is filled with money. They thought I'm making a lot of money, earning a lot of money. One computer became two computers, I became a little more gutsy and I said that let me take 6 more. So the hardware guy who saw me working very hard, he said that okay, I'll give it to you on installments. From 2 computers I jumped to 8 computers. And from 8 computers I started doing data processing job for Datamatics. Because Parle Super Hit Mukabla was over, and then I started doing the master gain issues. If people have invested those times in master gain, master plus. So I was also one of the guys who did the data processing for master gain, master plus. And after that, thanks to Harshad Mehta uncle, there was a stock market crash and I was sitting with 8 computers with a loan to pay, couple of employees on the job, no work because the entire stock market had crashed down. So UTI had put the stop on all the issues, the work was at a standstill, I didn't know what to do. And then I thought that why not teach people what we know. I have 8 computers, nobody to buy them. The computers in the entire vicinity of Malwani, at that time the population of Malwani must be 50,000 plus. So nobody had even seen a computer. And those days joining a typing class itself was a family decision in that area, because typing class also would cost you 35 rupees a month. So I thought that let me start teaching people computers, whatever I know. And that time I knew DOS, WordStar, Lotus and DBase. So I went door to door campaigning people to join computers, and I would teach them basics for 1500 rupees, a 3 months course. And you will not believe it, in the first 15 days I did 75 admissions. And it was rocking. And then there was no looking back. It was rocking. In fact, I would be very proud of one fact, that education loan as a concept was started by my organization in 1995. Because in 1995, there was no concept of education loan. Education loan for a private professional course was unheard of. Education loans started in the late 2000, in the late 90s. For government programs, for a degree program in university and all that, not for private institutes. I realized that these 75 students that joined me, they had a big financial crisis to pay even the 1500 in 3 months installments. So I used to teach a program for 3 months and I started giving them installments of 6 months. And believe me, not a single guy defaulted. Even after the education was over, and these were the children of rickshaw drivers, vegetable vendors, all small timers, but nobody defaulted. But even that 6 months was difficult. So when you say necessity is the mother of all inventions, I thought that how can I change the scenario where I can get more number of students if they can be funded by somebody else. So I went to the local, there was a cooperative credit society called Sahyog. So I went to Sahyog and I told them this idea that you will get customers, I will get students, and the student will get a 2-year or a 3-year loan. So we started this loan facility for the students, made it easy for them to get it. I started doing processing for their loans on the basis of one guarantor, and the installment started as low as 125 rupees. And suddenly the number of enrollments multiplied. And from one center I started the second center. Now computer education, IT education is my passion. It was a business till 8 to 10 years back, but then I diversified. But during this journey of my growth in the IT education, I realized that multiplication